The secretive Weyland-Yutani Scientific Research Station, RB-232, is just one of the company's many secluded and high restricted access locations across the Middle Heavens region. Unlike others though, RB-232 was dedicated to conducting R&D and manufacture on a variety of Weyland-Yutani black weapons projects, such as adaptive, biological, artificial intelligence and software weaponry, earning it the nickname the Cold Forge. Station RB-232 is located within the Kaufman star system, in the unclaimed regions of space, located approximately 30.1 light years or 9.2 parsecs from Earth. However, prior to the station's demise, the exact location of the Cold Forge was highly classified, for security reasons, due to the company's black projects going on there. Kaufman, the dwarf star, are aided in the station's secrecy. This is because the Cold Forge had highly reflective panels on its exterior that reflected most of its host's light, making it seem nearly invisible to detection through a unique form of photonic camouflage. Station RB-232 is actually run by two governing AI systems. Due to the importance of the Cold Forge special operations, they divvied up the roles between these two. There is the AI known as Titus. Titus is used for total station control, while the second, Juno, is, as the staff calls it, just the classified stuff. Basically, Juno was instrumental for keeping the station's classified intelligence and resources under wrap. RB-232 is a barbell-shaped station. There are two main ends and a connecting conduit called the central strut. The central strut has several empty connection spaces for potential expansion modules. However, during its operational time, almost none of these module spaces were ever utilised, as only really 3 projects were operating within the Cold Forge throughout its lifespan. However, aside from these module docks, there is also a dedicated docking area for space vessel berthing, and at one end is situated the crew quarters facilities, and at the other end of the station lies the sensitive, compartmented information facility, otherwise known as the skiff. Originally supposedly a colonial prison module, the skiff was purchased and fitted to RB-232's central strut to serve as Project Glitter Edifice's main base of operation and study. In total, the skiff is around 130,000 square feet in size and was modified by Weyland-Yutani to accommodate numerous specialized laboratories, servers, and workstations. The skiff, being what it is, needs to ensure that anything going on within its walls is kept classified and unobtainable to the outside world. To account for this, the skiff is vibration isolated, with full air gaps to all networks. No data in, no data out. At least not without clearing the official company channels. Weyland-Yutani doesn't want what's going on here to fall into the public's hands, or even worse, that of its competitors. The interior of the outermost layer of the skiff is constructed with a super hydrophobic material that is designed to stop the xenomorph XX-121's acidic blood from breaching the skiff and exposing the station to the vacuum of space. Located just outside the skiff, throughout the immediate area of the central strut, is a locale known as the Kill Box. The Kill Box is armed with United States Colonial Marine turrets, using 10 by 24 caseless rounds. The area is designed to keep unauthorized individuals out of the skiff and stop anything attempting to flee the skiff unannounced, dead in its tracks. A question you might ask yourself is, why is the station so worried about the excessive level of firepower surrounding the skiff? Well, this is due to one specific area within the skiff called the Kennels, and the horrors that lurk within them. Within the skiff, there is an area of the station known as the Kennels. These highly specialised containment facilities were designed by Dick Mackey to contain and study the extremely dangerous species Xenomorph XX121, as they were the centre of the station's Project Glitter edifice. A dedicated vivisection lab was also present in the area of the Kennels in order to perform immediate surgical procedures on test subjects infected by Manumula noxhydria, or the facehuggers. The interior of the kennel is coated with a special polymer, presumably to resist the acidic effects of the XX121's blood. Unlike a lot of the rest of the Cold Forge, the kennels are devoid of all piping and excess features. The interior wall panelling is also painted a bright green with black signage. This was purposefully done to increase the ability to spot the creatures in case of a potential containment breach. This is because the human optical response is strongest within this range of the colour spectrum. If the XX121s were moving within the kennels, the human staff should be able to easily identify them and their movements amongst the corridors. The individual kennel units are around 10 feet squared, and there is around 100 of them within the skiff. Each of these 10 by 10 feet containment kennels is placed just below the surface of the skiff's exterior, located right below the open vacuum of space. In the case of subject misbehaviour, the kennels possess an adjustable heat shield that can expose the creatures to the power of the station's host star, Kaufman. The head scientist of the project, Blue Marsalis, was actually the one responsible for writing the programs that could control these heat shields. The kennels were also removed from any computerized or automatic unlocking procedures, meaning that to open the kennels, an individual would have to personally, manually unlock them. The Cold Forge has a distinct navigation system that illuminates the floor panels of the station in order to direct those within the confusing and sometimes maze-like corridors and facilities to a specific location. Asking the station's AI for directions or manually inputting your required destination will illuminate the panels to guide you to it. RB-232 had a complement of around 22 total staff, including administration, security, technicians, and research scientists, as well as a Marcus model synthetic. The station was run by Commander Daniel Cardozo and backed up by Ian Wexler, who was his chief of security. As stated, the station was tasked with developing an array of weapon types for the Weyland-Yutani company. Working toward these goals were three main projects on the station: Project Rose Eagle, Project Silver Smile, and Project Glitter Edifice. Each of these are classified under the TS-CSI Mountain protocols. The Rose Eagle project is one that was responsible for creating a focusing array designed to disrupt and or manipulate entangled communications networks. Rose Eagle was headed by Josip Janos. Lucy Biltmore was the project lead of the Silver Smile project. Silver Smile was the code name for a very dangerous and aggressive computer virus. This virus was designed to infiltrate neural and computer networks. Once inside a network, the virus would act to infect as many neighbouring systems and subsystems of that network as possible. The virus will target the most critical infrastructure first, working its way down the list. For example, if the virus was to infect a ship's computer, it's likely to attack the life support, FTL drives, and even pressure bulkheads. You know, the things that are keeping the air in. The final project, being conducted on the Forge, was known as Glitter Edifice. The project lead assigned to this project was the infamous Dr. Blue Marsalis. Marsalis was one of the only individuals lucky enough to have studied the species Xenomorph XX121 up close and personal. The aim of the project was to develop broad-based applications for the Xenomorph XX121 and potential technologies or substances obtained from the study of them. While the company was primarily interested in a way to tame or control the beast for use as a biological weapon, Dr. Marsalis, however, was secretly working to use aspects of the XX-121's biology in order to attempt to cure their own genetic disease, known as Behçet's syndrome. It's not certain what year the Cold Forge was established. However, it was likely sometime around the 2160s or 70s, as the station was fully operational by the year 2179, and had likely been operating for at least a few years by this point. Its original purpose was a backup facility for Carter Burke's XX-121 R&D project. During 2179, the Forge would come under Weyland-Yutani's scrutiny about the progress of its special projects. This scrutiny would come in the form of company auditor, Director Dorian Sadler. Dorian would arrive to the station and begin a total overview of the station's spendings and the necessity of staff members, as well as the loyalty of those involved in highly classified Weyland-Yutani experiments and project development. Throughout his time, he would discover Dr. Blue Marsalis' deception surrounding their goals towards Project Glitter Edifice, being revealed by one of their fellow scientists who had been severely injured during the progress of their plan. Dorian also reveals at this time that he believes that Blue is some kind of corporate spy or conducting corporate espionage. Sadler reached this conclusion due to the fact that Dr. Marsalis' boss, Elise Kodo, had been arrested on Earth for charges of corporate espionage and embezzlement, suspecting that Marsalis was also involved somehow. In reality, she did have ties to Elise Kodo, and she was assisting Blue in her ability to progress with the research that she was conducting. So while Marsalis was appropriating company funds and resources, it didn't end up being her that would cause the downfall of the station. It turns out that there was more going on than originally realised with station RB-232, as a saboteur allowed the Silver Smile virus to get loose and ravage the station to the point of almost complete failure. At the same time, something or someone opened the Kennels, releasing a swarm of xenomorph XX-121 specimens out into the main areas of the station. After some investigation, it was discovered that the Seegson Company had been closely monitoring the operations around Kaufman and had become aware of the Cold Forge and its secrets. Being so close to the station, likely in a vessel of their own, it was surmised that they had taken remote control, of the station's synthetic Marcus and used him to actually open the Kennels. In addition, they engaged in blackmail against Dr. Lucy Biltmore, head of the Silver Smile Project. Seegson used her as their proxy to infiltrate and sabotage the station and recover any and all information and materials possible for Seegson's own research and development efforts. Unfortunately for Lucy though, Director Sadler discovered that she was the mole in their midst, ending her before she could cause any more damage for him. During the Silver Smile and XX-121 outbreak, the Cold Forge was brought to shambles. The station was basically ripped in half, the heat shields were severely compromised, and the station's docking area was completely destroyed after Dorian's personal transport vessel, the Athenian, crashed back into the station whilst under attack by xenomorph XX-121 creatures. And to top things off, all but one of the station's escape pods were destroyed, and the long-range communication transmitters were in need of major repairs in order to contact the company or possibly the UA for assistance. In the meantime, Marsalis was contacted by Seegson, who had a vessel of their own within the vicinity of the station, and requested that Marsalis obtain a sample of Plagiaris praepotens for them, a virulent mutagen used by the facehugger to form a chestburster within a host organism. Doing this would ensure that Seegson would ensure her extraction from the Cold Forge, as the site was now falling slowly into the star Kaufman. Dorian and Marsalis are eventually the last two standing on the station and feud for their survival, making an enemy of each other. Sadler, though, is eventually carried away by the alien creatures and subjected to facehugger implantation, while Marsalis is assisted by Seegson and her Marcus synthetic companion to board the final life pod, eject from the decaying station, and being retrieved by the Seegson team, where she reveals to them that she was successful in her abilities to obtain a Plagiaris Praepotens sample for them. The Cold Forge, now left devoid of human life, battered and broken, filled with creatures of death, finally succumbed to the aggressive pull of its host star, burning up as it approached, and bringing an end to the Cold Forge. If you really want to support what we do here and gain a bunch of awesome rewards, consider joining as a Project ACHERON channel member, like Project Director Chris Dasinger, company representatives TheSixxness, M56 Smart Gunner, and Sith Lord 906, and like team members Raunchy, Ambrosia, the Ryan Smee, and Jack Fleming Jr. I hope to see and hear from you all again very soon. Project ACHERON, bringing the knowledge and the power directly to you.